Corinne.
Oh, go ahead.
Thanks, Corinne. So the president says that he wants to let the tax cuts, the Trump tax cuts, expire. If that law expires, it does raise taxes on almost every American. So does he still support that expiring without anything else in place?
So look, as you said, the president is going to is going to let the Trump tax cut expire, and he was very clear. But he will not raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000 a year. That is part of the budget that you saw come out, and it's going to expire for the wealthy. So been very clear about that. Look. This is a president that's going to make sure that we protect and not raise taxes for people making $400,000 and less a year. And Republicans want to do the opposite. They want to give tax breaks to corporations and billionaires. They said that. They want to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Who does that hurt? That hurts everyday Americans. And so the president has been really clear about that. He wants to expand Affordable Care Act, as you see him doing that for Americans, making sure that they have good health care. And so that's what the president is going to focus on.
There's no way that people can be falling for this. Seriously, has America been taken over, invaded by a legion of functionally illiterate people? Watching Raggedy Ann talk here makes me want to puke. Dementia Joe's entire campaign strategy right now is to simply lie to the American people. And they absolutely count on the media to not challenge them. So they feel absolutely comfortable in gaslighting the entire country. Well, trying to gaslight the entire country. This $400,000 threshold that they keep talking about is a complete fantasy. It's a mathematical impossibility. In order to prove to you that she's a liar, I'm going to break down what she said. She may be a horrible person, but she's quite skilled in the art of lying and manipulation. I mean, it's not actually that hard when nobody calls you on your BS. So check this out.
Corinne.
Oh, go ahead.
Thanks, Corinne. So the president says that he wants to let the tax cuts, the Trump tax cuts, expire. If that law expires, it does raise taxes on almost every American. So does he still support that expiring without anything else in place?
Now understand what he just said, and that guy's from Fox. He said, you understand, when these things expire, if you let them intentionally expire, the Trump tax cuts, it essentially raises taxes on millions of Americans. That was the question. Now listen to her answer.
So look, as you said, the president is going to is going to let the Trump tax cut expire, and he was very clear. But he will not raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000 a year.
That's a complete fantasy. Like I said, it's a mathematical impossibility, and nobody called her out on it. If you let the tax cuts expire, what does that exactly mean? It means people will revert back to where they were taxed, meaning they're going to have to pay more. So she just completely avoided the question and just deflected and went into her, choreographed, rehearsed speech.
That is part of the budget that you saw come out, and it's going to expire for the wealthy. So been very clear.
She lied. She just completely lied. It's going to expire for the wealthy. No, it's going to expire for everybody. But he was smart enough to follow up with that.
About that, look. This is a president that's going to make sure that we protect and not raise taxes for people making $400,000 and less a year.
She lied again. She looked right in his face and lied. Hey, listen, if you're letting these tax cuts expire, then that means people who were, enjoying the tax cuts are going to have to pay more.
And Republicans want to do the opposite. They want to give tax breaks to corporations and billionaires.
No, that's not true either. They want to have a tax across the board that's less for everybody.
They said that. They want to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Who does that hurt?
She's lying again. And I don't understand how these reporters just stay up there and don't say anything.
That hurts everyday Americans. And so the president has been really clear about that. He wants to expand Affordable Care Act.
Oh yeah, he wants to expand the Affordable Care Act, all right. Guess who he wants to expand it to? They just announced that they're going to give the Affordable Care Act to tons of these newcomers. See how she just slid that in there? A lying manipulation made it so easy.
You see him doing that for Americans, making sure that they
No, these people aren't American.
Have good health care. And so that's what the president is going to focus on.
The president can't pick.
Okay, so now he's going to come back with her and he's going to say to her, you can't pick and choose which parts of this bill that you're going to sunset.
and choose which part of the law sunsets. The entire law will sunset. And the tax foundation says that someone who's married, 2 kids, making $85,000 would pay $1,700 more in taxes.
So she's met with fact. Hey, listen, you can't pick and choose which part of this tax cut thing that you can sunset. You have to sunset the entire thing. So now the government's own, watchdog of taxes says, hey, listen, this is going to affect everybody. Wonder how she's going to answer that.
Somebody under $400,000 who would.
The president has been very clear. He's going to protect working.
She just blew past it, like he never even asked a question. She's just right back into her choreographed barking seal routine.
Middle-class Americans making less than $400,000 a year. He's been very clear on that about that.
Didn't even address what he just said. Either she's too stupid or she does know and she has to lie. Either way, it's an awful response. She was asked, what are you going to do about these other people? Not just the rich people, all the people who've been enjoying these tax cuts. And she just blew right past it. Hey, we're just going to, expire it. We don't care.
Republicans want to do the opposite. They literally want to do the opposite.
Now you've seen this. I didn't edit anything. This is her saying the exact same words. She's just repeating the exact same words that she said earlier.
They want to give a tax break to billionaires and corporations. That's what they said. They want to cut Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security.
She must have memorized it before she came out to the podium. She has said it twice. That's all she keeps saying over and over and over. And she never addressed what he said. Hey, Miss KJP, hey, listen, understand you can't sunset part of the law. You have to sunset the entirety of it, which at that point, other people are going to be hurt. Just ignored him, completely ignored him.
That's what they want to do. And so the president's going to do everything that he can as he's building this economy from the middle out and the bottom up to protect everyday Americans. That's what he wants to do. Make sure that the middle class is strong. That's what he's going to do. Republicans in Congress are saying the opposite.
Third time she said that. So her talking point was to just keep hammering down this point and ignore whatever they ask you. Don't even respond to what someone in the audience is going to ask you.
Literally, they're saying the opposite. So
fourth time. She said it 4 times.
That's been the president's plan from day one, and he's going to continue that plan. Go ahead.
That's in 2 minutes. She said the same thing 4 times and never answered this guy's question. But she's not the only one playing this shell game with America. It's their plan. It's an actual strategy. And I have more proof. But what's interesting is that some of the people in the media are starting to wake up and go, hey man, we're being lied to on an epic scale. You guys may know Hakeem Jeffries is the Democrat leader in the House of Representatives. Listen to this blatant gaslighting nonsense. You won't believe it.
But 2/3 of voters think the economy was better under President Trump.
Well, that's just not the case, and we have to do a better job of laying out the facts that the economy has driven.
That's just not true. We got to do a better job of lying because that's just not true. What you just said is not true. I just read it off a poll. 2/3 of Americans think that, we were better under Trump, which we were. And what does he do? He looks her right in the face and lies to her. Right in the face.
Dramatically improved under the leadership of President Joe Biden.
I love the side eye. She's giving him side eye right now going, dude, are you really going to sit here right to my face and lie to me? Yes, I am.
But if those are the facts, why
And by the way, they are facts.
don't voters believe it?
All right, love this answer. So she just goes directly to him and says, if that's the fact, if things are better under Dementia Joe, why don't people believe it? Why don't people understand when you're going to the gas tank, when you're going to the grocery store, when you're paying your mortgage or rent payment? Why aren't you realizing it's actually better now?
Is that a communication problem?
Voters understand that more needs to be done, that there are challenges that remain.
Silly Americans. You're just too stupid to realize how good you have it. Stop feeling so privileged. There are people in Haiti eating dirt cookies. Hey, I'm serious. There are people in Haiti eating dirt cookies. Ignorant Americans, you have it great here. You just don't understand how great you have it. That's the message they are actually trying to put out to people. That is what their campaign strategy is based upon, that you are too ignorant to know that you have it great here in America. And next, we have another member of the media, this time from NPR, National Public Radio. An NPR reporter starts to give Dementia Joe and his administration the side eye when it comes to the economy.
Many voters are looking at this election as a referendum on Trump. I was just up in Pennsylvania, nonstop. I heard about the economy, and people don't feel
on Biden.
great. Yeah, exactly. On Biden. I'm sorry, referendum on Biden. And so people don't feel great about the economy now. This nostalgia for the Trump years is something that I would say about the economy nostalgia I heard from Democrats even.
She is hearing nostalgia for the Trump years from Democrats. That must have made heads explode. It absolutely must have made them go absolutely nuts that an NPR reporter would say that on ABC News. But at least there's one network out there trying to show you guys the truth. They're actually trying to say, hey, listen, you may want to look at the actual data before you make your decision on who you're going to vote for. That's for people who actually have a functioning mind that want to think about things. Check out what Stuart Varney says right here.
This comes as a new poll reveals voters still name the economy and inflation.
This must be a mirage. This must be something that Karine Jean-Pierre doesn't know about. Obviously, Hakeem Jeffries doesn't know about it. 88% of Americans find the economy as the number one issue. 85% of Americans find inflation to be the number two issue. Crime and safety, the number three issue. This isn't just a Democrat or Republican poll. This is everybody. This is all American. And what the Democrats that are running for office care about are way down at the bottom. I'm not even going to say the bottom two because YouTube doesn't like me talking about it. But you can see not even half of Americans are worried about that. Just over half are worried about the other thing. And the world standing, basically that country all the way over there that we're giving billions of dollars to, sorry, we don't care about it. Our number one care is the economy, which Hakeem Jeffries says, y'all just don't know. You just don't understand how things are so good here. We just have to make you guys figure it out because you're ignorant.
As their top issues in the upcoming election. And they trust Trump to do a better job than Biden when it comes to handling both of those priorities.
Look at that. That's simply amazing. Trump plus 14 on the economy, Trump plus 14 on inflation, Trump plus 8 on law and order, crime and safety. You tell me how these polls are accurate. It shows that, he's only up by a couple points in some of these polls. It's devastating information.
Job than Biden when it comes to handling both of those priorities.
Did you ever think that you hear of a Democrat who's nostalgic for the Trump years?
Well, I think if they took truth serum, they all...
Yeah, if they finally wake up and tell the truth, of course, everybody wants cheaper gas. Everybody wants cheaper groceries. No sane person says, yeah, give me some more of this inflation. I'd like that.
All would. This is the problem.
They should be nostalgic.
Yes.
If you go back to those years and you're looking at the economy, we had very low inflation. We had virtually full employment, as far as I can remember. And for the first time in a generation, the lowest income earners were catching up to people higher up the food chain. The income inequality, the gap there, actually narrowed in the Trump years.
It's funny, these people are always talking about DEI and equality, yet they're taking away the one thing that was helping equality, the economy.
We've never seen that before or since, by the way. So that kind of nostalgia for the past is entirely understandable.
So there's always sort of a disconnect because obviously campaigns are all about telling your side of the story, also known as often lying.
Really lying in regards to Dementia Joe's people.
Because that's what politicians tend to do. But the disconnect between what you're talking about and, as Ainsley was saying earlier, it's remarkable that Trump and Biden are this close when you look at the numbers underneath.
Yeah.
And that's what I keep telling you guys. I keep saying it over and over. He's lost 29, I think almost 30% with voters under 30. He's lost 24% of the black vote. He's lost 18% of the Hispanic vote. How can these numbers at all be close?
Because if the most significant issues are the economy and inflation, this latest poll that I've seen, ABC poll I believe it is, they have Trump 14 points ahead of Biden on both the economy and on inflation.
Right.
So if those are the key issues of the day, how is it that they're closer together when you put all the issues together and have a national poll?
They're fudging the numbers already. They're trying to keep the Biden, voter out there energized and enthused about Dementia Joe. He's not as bad as it looks. We're just going to pull him off the campaign trail and we're going to go with a more engaging, short messaging type stunt. We're not going to put him out there. He's definitely not going to debate. Doesn't need to debate Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a criminal. You guys don't want that. We know you don't want that. And by the way, the economy's doing great.
don't see it. I see Trump running away with this at the moment if the
You've heard me say that.
economy and inflation are the key issues, not to mention age, not to mention the contrast in campaigning styles. I mean, you saw what was going on in Miami over the weekend at the
If you haven't seen my video, you go ahead and click on my page and you're going to see what happened at the F1 event down here in Miami. It was amazing. Just like with UFC, just like in Harlem, just like in Midtown. Once people saw him, the chants began. USA, USA, USA. He is really engaged with the people.
At the Grand Prix, there's Trump glad-handing the crowd, enormous positive response. When did you ever see that with Joe Biden on the campaign trail? You simply do not see that.
Yeah, and you're not going to see it. It's only May right now as this video is being published. We still have 6 months, and you're not going to see him engaging or having these kind of crowds anywhere.
You almost feel mean pointing it out, but if they wheeled Joe Biden out in front of that crowd, he's not going to get that kind of enthusiastic response.
I feel rather harsh pointing this out all the time, but in fact, it's a public service announcement.
I think regular people look at their own economic situation and they look at the fact that the federal government is paying for putting people up in hotels all around New York City, all over the country. You can't help but think that the administration is doing things to undermine people's fiscal health.
Bingo. I haven't heard one single reporter say that. This is almost intentional. They're laughing in your face, slapping you in the face, spitting in your face, giving the newcomers hotel rooms and gift cards and flights and everything else, shipping off billions of dollars to a land that nobody knows and can point out on a map, yet telling you we're about to raise your taxes and then lie to you and say, no, it's actually not, or tell you that the economy's actually doing very good. You just are too stupid to understand. It has to be intentional.
Keep your eye on mortgage rates, because mortgage rates are now above 7%, and that's really killing the housing industry. Young people can't get into a home because they can't afford to get into a home with rising prices. Those high mortgage rates are the result of Federal Reserve and Biden policy. And until that is reversed, you won't get mortgage rates coming down to the point where youngsters can get into the houses easily.
Mortgage rates and gas prices are two of the best indicators in politics.
They are. Yeah, you're looking down. The national average for regular gas is now $3.65,
and going in the wrong direction.
Lies have to stop. At least the people have to stop believing these lies. You're paying out in California, people have sent me images, $6, $7 a gallon for gas. If you're buying eggs and paying $12 a dozen, you're not stupid for saying, hey, listen, this doesn't work. It doesn't work. They're lying to you. Wake up. I can't even fathom how anybody can be so self-loathing as to want this to continue. What kind of person wants to see so many Americans suffer? Think about that. The reason why Donald Trump is getting chants of USA, USA wherever he goes is because they know he's for them. At this point, how many people think that Dementia Joe is for the people? I mean, really, think about it. It seems like he's for other people in other countries, and in America, and I hate the cliche about being America last, but there seems to be nothing that he's doing, nothing that Hakeem Jeffries is championing, nothing that seems like any of these people are doing to help everyday Americans. Even though KJP will get up on a podium and lie to people's faces and just keep repeating the lie over and over like Baghdad Bob, people understand they're being gaslit. They've had enough. Now listen here to what Fox Business News put out, where they actually went through the actual numbers in this tax increase / tax expiration stunt that Dementia Joe is going to be pulling on the American people.
The president's plan to let Trump-era tax cuts expire would raise taxes on most Americans. So who specifically is going to see the tax increases under President Biden? We are diving into the real math here.
The real math. Like I said, it's a mathematical impossibility when they say nobody under $400,000 is going to see a tax increase.
Here are some examples of 3 middle-class Americans and how much they make and if they have children or not. We're going to start with a single filer with 2 kids making $52,000 a year. Under Biden's tax plan, this taxpayer would see a $1,474.50 tax increase. Now take a look at a single filer, no kids, making $75,000 $1,000 a year. They're going to see an increase of $1,707.75.
Who's okay with this? Seriously, I'd like to meet the American person anywhere in America who's actually okay with this.
And this one is the one that really gets me. A married filer, so you've got a couple, 3 kids, making $200,000 a year. This couple is going to see an increase of $7,449.56 when the Trump tax cuts expire.
But KJP said that nobody under 400,000 was going to see any increase in taxes. She absolutely lied. But maybe it's not an outright lie, it's just an act of omission. This lady's going to tell you exactly why that is.
And it's a nuance here because actions speak louder than words. His words are going to be, I didn't raise taxes on people making less than $400,000 a year. That is technically true. No new taxes. But when you let these tax cuts expire and it has this kind of impact on people, think about that last example. On top of the taxes you pay, on top of the inflationary pressures you're feeling, you're going to shell out another $7,500. Where are people going to get it from?
Most of the media will never tell you the truth. KJP, never going to tell you the truth. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to nuance words so that because most people won't understand the math or this finance and what they're doing, they're going to say, we never raised taxes. You know, we told you we weren't going to raise taxes, but it's going to revert back to what it was before. So it's essentially the same thing. If you're paying X now and you're paying X plus X in a couple months or a year, then essentially all you care about is that, hey, listen, my pocketbook is even smaller. Now in terms of gas and rent and mortgages and groceries, now I've got to come out of pocket even more because he let these tax cuts expire. I don't understand how any American doesn't get it. And as far as the media goes, either they won't talk about it or they're not allowed to talk about it. And maybe it's a little bit of both. In any event, I hope this video allows you to get a little bit more information, a little edification on the gaslighting that the entire Dementia Joe administration is doing. So maybe you can educate your family, your friends, and coworkers. That's if they're not too far gone to comprehend what you're telling them. Too many people right now are just accepting everything that the government says to them. They are not even questioning anything. And Dementia Joe and his cohorts count on that. We all have to realize at this point, there are probably a lot of people out here in America that we can't save. And for them, all we can do is pray. And we need to pray for America because there's no doubt anymore. Dementia Joe does not have our interest at heart. He is doing something for somebody else, somewhere, some puppet master, but he's not doing it for America. There's no way you can do the things that he's doing and tell everybody, I'm here to help you. Paying too much everywhere, and he's looking at you in the face, spitting at you and saying, I'm not going to raise your taxes. While at the same time, that's exactly what he's doing. Let me know what you think about Dementia Joe's campaign of lies.